everybody. How's it going? My name is Melissa, and this is my channel Geeky Witch about all things cross stitch in my life. It is Friday, March 28th, 2025. It's a beautiful morning here in Rhode Island. Things are starting to green up. We don't have any leaves on trees, but it feels like spring, and I am so ready for it because I am so tired of winter at this point. I have a lot to show you because it's been about 6 weeks since I last did a floss tube. I apologize for being away so long. Life has just been crazy. Nothing bad, just busy. Work, Max to school, all that kind of stuff. So everything's fine. But the good thing is I've been doing a lot of stitching and I have a lot of updates to show you. So we'll get right into things. Okay, so first off, events coming up, because there's quite a few events coming up, and many of which that you can jump in and participate in if you are looking to connect with other stitchers. First off, there's Nash Stash, which starts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe it is. It's online. If you go to Lindy Stitches, the links to sign up are there. It's only like $10, which is extremely reasonable. You can hang out and stitch with folks. There'll be like speed dating online to meet other stitchers. Chat rooms where you can just hang out with people. There'll be reviews of the cookbook from Nashville. And it's just a good excuse to start something that if you bought anything from Nashville this year, that was the whole purpose of the retreat, was to just have an excuse to start something. If you didn't buy anything from Nashville, pick up a piece, hang out, stitch. No one's going to judge you. They might judge you. Maybe a little. But not in a negative way. They're going to judge you for, not coming. Probably. Anyway. Come join everyone. It's just tonight and tomorrow. It's not the whole weekend, so you could hang out and stitch. $10, which is like cheaper than going to the movies in a lot of places for 2 hours. So even if you only come and hang out for a few hours, you've more than paid for it as opposed to going to the movies and sitting in the theater. So, and hey, you get to meet people. So come join us. Let's see. There's another one that Lindy Stitches is doing at the beginning of May. I am not signed up for that one because as of right now I have a conflict that weekend. But that is also on her website. It's another virtual retreat. And in 2 weeks I have Stitching at Downton with the Black Needle Society. And that retreat, it's also a virtual retreat. That one is sold out. But I'm sure there's going to be more iterations of that coming up next year, the year after, however they decide to space it out in their plans of chaos. I'm looking forward to that one. And that just, yeah, they run a really fun, chaotic virtual retreat based on frogworts, and the Downton one is kind of set up the same way with lots of stitching challenges and events and all that kind of thing. So should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Anything else that I can think of? Well, of course, Stitch Mania is coming up in May. I'm still planning that. I think I'm going to do a lot of starts for May this year. Because as those who have watched my floss tube know, I decided that this year with turning 50 was going to be the year of starting whatever I wanted when I wanted. The irony is I haven't started that much. I've started a couple of things, but nowhere near as much as I thought I would have by May or March, May, spring, this time of year. I thought I was going to go on a starting frenzy, and I really haven't. Which is kind of funny. You give yourself the permission and you don't do it anyway. Who knows? But I may do that for May and just start a bunch of stuff, especially like small stuff that I can also finish quickly. these new edition containers that I bought earlier this year house whips and things that are fully kitted. They're all thrown in there. I used to have them on a roller cart back here, and it just wasn't working for me because to get in there was a pain in the butt. So they're all in here now, which reminds me of what I've got going. uh, it's a little intimidating, honestly. But so I'll be digging out of that to start stuff because there's stuff ready to go in there. And yeah, I think May may be a bit of a startathon for me. We'll see. We may do a true mania. I don't think I'm going to do a 25 and 25 for mania, um, but we'll see. But I've got another month to think about that, so I'll probably reveal the final plans for that in my next episode. All right, but that's the general overview of spring, what's been going on. Oh, there is one other thing going on, but I'm not going. Um, Nashua, New Hampshire, the third weekend of May, the 17th, whatever that weekend is Celebration of Needlework up in Nashua, New Hampshire. Um, if you have not gone to that and you can get to that, it is a great weekend to stitch. There's a shopping mall, hang out with your friends, stitch whatever, in-person retreat. There's even if the hotel is sold out, there are multiple hotels within a block or two of that hotel. So don't be discouraged of, oh, they're sold out. There's plenty of places to stay up there. So, and you don't have to stay at that hotel to get the membership to go. So if you are around and can get there, it's one of those events I recommend. If you want to try out a retreat you've never been to one, that's a great one to go to. I can't get to that one because I managed to get triple booked for that weekend with things, and it was like, ugh. Okay. So it was that. It was the Tudor Rose is having their 25th anniversary um, workshop down in Dallas that I'd really wanted to go to, and then my son had a thing for karate and child wins. That when you've got those up against family wins. So I'm not going to any stitching events that weekend. Okay, so those are all the events I know of coming up in this spring. So let's get into stitching. First off, we will do, as I'm looking at the pile here, WIPGO for the last couple of months. It has been a successful WIPGO so far this year. I am finishing up my last one for March, but I will be able to do that very easily. But I am up to date. WIPGO has been successful. My goal this year was for every piece that was called on the WIPGO board, which is, if you're not familiar with WIPGO, it's like a bingo card. And you assign your pieces to somewhere on the board. As they call that number, your pieces or your whatever you decide to do for stitching. A lot of people who, work on one project may just do this many stitches or work on this motif or whatever. You set up your board how you want. I have 25 pieces on my board. My goal was 1,000 stitches on each piece during the month that it's called. Okay. And I have been successful with that. So we will start with the ones for last month because I don't believe I'd finished them by the time I did my last episode. I think I kind of crammed them in later in the month. So February calls were frogworts, which I have lumped in for both years 4 and 5, but I only worked on 5. So pay no attention to this thing that it says 4 because that was a typo on the thing. Oop, here we go. That is year 5, and this is from Black Needle. So this is from the retreat last year, and it has a bunch of items that were from the book and the movie for Order of the Phoenix from Harry Potter. And this is where I did not start my pieces with the retreats for years 2 and 3. I did not attend year 1. Um, so I have parts 4 and 5 started, and 5 is in a lot better shape because I actually tried to do the finish during the retreat last year. Didn't happen, but I'm close. Unfortunately, I have a counting error that I got to work around. But so here is, oop, let me move it over there. Focus camera. There we go. Okay, so there is 4 and 5 as it stands right now. And so I was working on 5 and filled in a little bit more here and a little bit more down here. I have, my counting error is for some reason things got a little scrunched in through here, and his foot is not supposed to hit against the side of the decree, but we'll run with it. I can adjust for it. So this was started last June, at the end of last June, and I don't have my fabric written down of what I'm doing this on, which is kind of weird. But I think, I'm pretty sure that this is the 40 count Massachusetts from Primitive Hair. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm stitching this on. So that's that, and I'm very happy with that. So I got my 1,000 stitches. Oop, let's not have the magnet stick to my keyboard. That would be a bad thing. Okay. The other piece that got called for WIPGO was Hugs and Kisses by Blue Ribbon Designs. And I only have my working copy of this. I don't know why. But that is the piece. And I am doing it in DMC, not in the overdyes it was originally called for. This was started back in 2011 as a project between a fellow stitcher and I. We were going to be passing it back and forth. Our friendship fell apart. I happened to have the piece in my possession during that, and so I'm continuing it. But it is progressing nicely. This is stitched on an old piece of Silkweaver Casual Linen, 28 count. I believe it was a solo. I don't think it's a named color. And as I said, I'm doing it all in the recommended DMCs that were on the chart. And for this WIPGO, I did all of these. I finished this square and put in kind of this frilly lacing, this square, and this square. So framing everything out, and which will make it, of course, a lot easier to, I keep putting things at the side there, sorry. Make things a lot easier to finish filling in. But this now is all of the boxes left to right. I just need to finish the ones that are down in that bottom corner and then fill stuff in. So this is in really good shape to be a finish in the next couple of rounds of stitching. And yay, I'm thrilled because I've had this going since 2011, off and on. It'll be a nice finish. Okay, March WIPGO. One of my oldest whips got called. This thing has been, it's old enough that I don't even know the date I started it on my note sheet. We're going on 20 years. I'll just put it there. 20 years. It has gone around on a round robin for UFOs, for unfinished objects, where people helped me a lot on it. It just kind of, it gets a little bit of work and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to see this for a little while, which is kind of a shame. But some pieces are like that, right? I want it finished, but I need to buckle down and finish it. So this is Smoky Mountain Cats, old piece by Janlin. I had to make a photocopy of the inside of the kit because the original colored sheet was like destroying itself. So yeah, I call this the Big Blue Beast, because it's a lot of blue, lots of blue. Um, but this was before I started stitching on linen. This is on Aida, and I didn't know how to do anything but Aida at the time. And it's also one of those pieces where you are stitching with 3 strands at a time. And when I started it, I wasn't reading the directions and started it with 2. So there is a section of this that looks a little thinner than the other pieces, and the intention I have is that when I get this done, I'm just going to go over and just do a tent stitch to add a little more weight into the areas that look light. We'll see if I do that or not, but that's the intention. All right, so this is the Big Blue Beast, and it is, full coverage, and it is all blue except for cat eyes. I'm getting there. I'm actually getting there. These cats down here are the bottom row of cats. Let me hold this back up. So I'm down there. And it's really not as much stitching as I think, but it's just a lot. I've got like 3 rows up here at the top that I need to finish as well. But I'll probably put this on next year's WIPGO, and maybe I'll finish it then. I don't expect to do any more on it this year. But it's looking pretty good. And, even here on the video, you can see where it's a little thin. I started, as I always did back then, I started in the dead center. So it's kind of this section here is a little thin, and my tension is a little bad. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it to show how well my stitching has improved in 20 years. But yeah. So that is Smoky Mountain Cats, one of the banes of my existence. We all have them. But it's getting there. Slowly but surely. Every stitch counts. Okay. Now what I'm working on right now for WIPGO, and it's not done yet, but I'm in really good shape. I'm about half done, but when you see this, you'll be like, oh yeah, you can pound out the other 100 stitches or 500 stitches on this pretty easily because I'm doing straight lines. This is Book of Ink Circles, or Boink, and this is a free chart from Ink Circles. And again, I only have a black and white because this was a web one, and I realized this morning I didn't have a copy of the full picture for you, so I had to run it off my printer here at home, and I only have a black and white printer. But so this is Book of Ink Circles. This came out as a stitch along, a section stitch along, before they were really a thing in 2008 and 2009. This is still available on her website. If you go to her goodies on Ink Circles, you can download this. Again, all free. And it is originally done in a lot of very bright manuscript type colors from, Celtic illustration. So lots of greens, reds, golds, really pretty, but a lot because that's the style. So I am not doing it in those colors. I haven't decided. Everything I'm doing, I keep waffling between 2 color versions, but once I get the frame in, I'm going to do a toss to decide my insides. But that is the whole piece. And this is where I'm at on this one. I am stitching this on 28 count Thunderstorm from Silk Weaver. And the entire border is being done in Gentle Art Cinders. Just thought it looked really, really cool. Um, and I started this back in 2012 as one of the many pieces that I started before I got pregnant with Max. And then I had a couple of major miscounts, and I just did not want to deal with it. So it went into timeout, and it went into timeout for like 3 or 4 years. And then I got it back out, and I found my miscount, and I've slowly kind of I've put it on WIPGO just to kind of get it going and get a little bit of work in on it while I focus on other things. Um, but it hasn't gotten all the love that it probably should have. But I'm getting nice and close to finishing that border. Um, this time around, I've been working this. Yeah, I finished this square here, and I've added in this. So we're going to kind of focus on getting all of this in as much as 1,000 stitches will get me. And it's going to get it pretty darn close to done. I think I'm just going to have to get those bottom corner and side uh, decorations on there, and then I'll be ready to start filling in the squares. So really happy with that. But I'm about half done with WIPGO for March on this piece, and I should have no problem getting that done by the end of Monday. For tonight and tomorrow, it will be Nash Stash, but then I'll get back on this for Sunday, and I'll probably have it done Sunday night. That's the plan, anyway. So that's WIPGO. Lots of projects going for WIPGO. And I will. Do I have WIPGO for next month pulled? I don't think I do. Well, in any case, WIPGO will get pulled. The numbers have been called. I have Coming to America, and we'll be getting stitched on next month. And actually, let me bring out my planner because I think I wrote it down. Hyperborea from Owl Forest are my two pieces for next month, but I'll show those next month, or on my next WIPGO of where I'm at. So those are the two that are coming up for April. Okay, other stitching that I've been doing recently, I have been working a ton on Water Garden by Chatelaine. There is a stitch along going on Facebook for this, and they have decided, the folks running the stitch along took the pattern and broke it out into 10 parts, 11 parts, accounting for like beading for part of it, I think, to try, but it's a start along like everything else. So you do it at your own pace, but they're just going to give you kind of a goal if you want to work to a goal. And I do think that breaking it out like that makes the piece a lot less intimidating and gives you a bit more of a sense of an easy way to approach it, because chatelaines are big and a little, especially the pattern itself just looks intimidating when you're looking at it, because it's not a full coverage piece, but that center is full coverage, and it's like, ooh, okay. So this is Water Garden. Gorgeous piece. And I will say, having kitted Deep Blue Sea as well, Water Garden is a lot less expensive. This is one of the earlier mandalas, and the cost point is a lot better. There's a lot more DMC in this one. There is a option to do it with some silks, with the blues, but you can kit this thing in pretty much all DMC, and it's like 2 silks and then the beads. Very approachable compared to a lot of those chatelaines as they got further along date-wise, and the list of silks got crazier. So if you're looking for a chatelaine to start and you don't know which one to do, if you're looking for a little less of a cost commitment, this is a good one to do. It still winds up being about $100 to kit this sucker up, but even with like cutting down on different things and adjusting some of my costs, Deep Blue Sea was close to 300. So definitely a better option if you're looking for a budget chatelaine. So that's the whole piece. I am finishing up part 2, and I've got this on the massive hoop at the moment, but I think I need to scale down the hoop because this thing's too big to really work on. But I wanted to show it off. So this is through most of part 2 in the center. I am currently working on finishing up. Oh, maybe I finished it. Did I finish it? I haven't finished. Oh, I did. I think I did finish the color for this dark. I've got one more dark round to go outlining this to finish up part 2. And then part 3 starts branching out into some more interesting, start really framing things. But yeah, this is entirely in DMC so far. This is on antique white, 28 count. I am doing it on basic fabric because I want all the colors to shine, and I really didn't want to fight with my fabric this time around. That was my mistake with Deep Blue Sea, is I have it on dark blue, and it's a struggle. So that is going really, really well, and I am hoping to keep up with this a little bit more over the next couple of months, and a couple of my friends that are fairly local are planning to try to have this ready to go to bead this at the farm in November, and I'm going to try to join them. So if not, I'll be stitching on it at the farm. But my goal is to get it to where I can bead it and maybe have this done in a calendar year. We shall see. But yeah, I'm very happy with this so far. And really, this center is like the most intense part of these chatelaines. And honest, they could just be a piece by themselves. They're just so gorgeous. You could just do the center of these things and have it as its own. The gaps you see here, by the way, that's where there's going to be beads. So it is fully stitched in there, but there are lots of shinies to be added in later. So that's Water Garden. And this has been the bulk of my stitching over the last 6 weeks to catch this up. That is not going over there because that will be a disaster. Okay, let's see. Next on the list, yeah, there's more, is one of my new starts for the year. Chatelaine was a new start. That was my birthday start. And this was a new start this past month. I just felt like starting something. And Rookie Woods was there, and it was ready to go, so that's what got picked up. This is Rookie Woods by Tempting Tangles. It has now been released as a full piece, but when I got it, it was a stitch along, and I was just collecting the parts at the time and collecting the kitted floss and whatnot. So the quote on here is from Shakespeare. It is from Macbeth. Light thickens and the crow makes wing for the rookie wood. And the colors in it are, it's a very pretty, interesting palette. I should have pulled the flosses to show you, but here is what I have done on it so far. Don't mind the cat hair. So that is the top of the garden. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Ugh, excuse me. Excuse me. So this is all in silks. This is in Dinky Dye silks, and stitched up really, really fast so far. So not a lot to say so far. It's a small start, but I started this on the 9th of March, and it's on 32 count vanilla cream from Atomic Ranch. And I haven't used a lot of Dinky Dye silks before, which is weird because I do have quite a few in my stash. But they're stitching lovely. They really are. It is. I do love stitching with silk. It's just, there's something about it. It flows through the fabric, and it just sits on the fabric differently, and it has a little more of a sparkle to it for some reason. It really is a joy to stitch with. So I look forward to seeing this develop up. Um, and this will be coming back up later this year again. All right, finally for stitching over the last 6 weeks, I mean, this has been lots, is Mary Foch with the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. And this has now been officially released, so it's not just my guild doing an early stitch of it. If you want this, it was released at Nashville, go get it. Um, and it is a beautiful sampler, and the colors are very, if you are a seasonal stitcher, this is your sampler September, because it is a gorgeous autumn palette. um, Joy to stitch. And this is my Mary Foch so far. I have only been working on this when we have our get together on stitch alongs, so that is why it is a slow thing right now, but this is going to be going into my rotation much more now. um, I wanted to see how much I could get done during hour and a half stitch along sessions. This is the whole piece. Yeah, as you can see, she was 8 years old. I mean, that's crazy. It's just crazy. The one thing that a couple of the stitchers have noticed as we've been stitching this is that you will want to get extra an extra skein of the golds and yellows in this. We were running out with one skein, so just keep that in mind that you may want to get the golds. I started this last August. This is on 46 count oat from Fibers on a Whim, with the called for. It's a mix of Gentle Art and Weeks for this piece, but really, really, really pretty. The verse on it, if you couldn't read it on my thing, is all you, my friends, who now expect to see a piece of marking thus performed by me, cast but a smile on this my best endeavor. I'll strive to mend and be obedient ever. So, but yes, this is now available, and it's from Running with Needles and Scissors, and the piece is Mary Foch. So that is where that is, and she will continue to build. Sampler September for me this year is going to be whip only. I have a lot of sampler whips, so, but it will be a sampler September for me. All right, so new start plans as of this morning. What am I starting for Nash Stash? Well, I am starting, and the funny thing is I got this before Nashville because it was in a Black Needle Society box last year, but I hadn't started it, and it officially got released at Nashville, so it is my Nash Stash start. This is an ode to libraries from Heartstring Samplery. The very existence of libraries affords the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of humanity. I need that right now. So this is my start for tonight and tomorrow, and I am going to be stitching it on a piece of Ship's Manor Lugana called Anne Niven. And this is my, it's kind of a yellowed parchment is probably the way to describe it. So I've got a big piece. I don't think I need all of that, but you know, it's a fat quarter. So that is the cut that I'm doing it on, and I'm doing it. This piece in my, you know, my goal to try to kit things from Stash. Fabric is from Stash, floss is from Stash. I did use a mix of the called for and some DMC to fill it in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that this weekend. And the other thing I have that I'm starting soon is, and this has been another thing for the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. Um, I don't remember when we first decided we were going to start this, maybe early in 2024, and it kind of fell off the map. Was Anton Uffendell, 1835, from Hands Across the Sea. This will be my first hats sampler. I've never stitched anything from Hands Across the Sea before. And I love this sampler. I don't even know what it is that pulls me. Part of it is the border. I love the flowers in this border. But this one pulls me. I am going to be stitching mine with the conversion from Vicky Clayton Silks. This is one of the few that I ordered the silks last year before I decided to do this chaos. So it doesn't break the rule of my start from stash because I hadn't decided to start that yet. But yeah, had this in my stash already. I just didn't have it kitted up. So that is the piece. And after a bit of waffling, this is my cut of linen for it. That it falls. And I want to say this is from Forbidden Fibers, but I just do not have the tag for it anymore. And it's going to use a lot of this. This is 40 count fabric. And even on 40 count, she's a big girl. 40 count, the design is going to be 16 by 19 inches. So I actually need a good part of this fat half to fit her on. So she's going to be a big girl, but she's going to be a gorgeous girl when she's done. So I am planning on starting her in April, in the next, couple of weeks. She's going to be like my official spring start for the year because she's flowery. She's springy. Well, she's more autumny with her colors, but there's flowers and I need flowers. So that is going to be started soon. And that's it. I've lots going, but I've been having a good time stitching, and I hope that you're having a great time with your stitching as well. And I'd love to hear what you're doing. What are you stitching on these days? What are you looking to start? If you're at Nash Stash this weekend, say hi, send me a message. I'll be on there under my full name, under Melissa Kruger. So come say hi. I tend to be one of those that I kind of mill around, but I don't go say hi to people right away because I get a little shy in groups. I'll warm up though. So, but yeah, would love to see you there. Would love to see you here on FlossTube. And if I don't see you here, hopefully I'll see you at an event later this year because Stitch New England's coming up and the farm's coming up and Frogworks is coming up and the Jingle Ball's coming up. There's a lot going on. It's lovely to have all these things. So that's it for me for now. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend, and I will see you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye.